Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, we are good. All right, people. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Not waiting. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I'm gonna get this show on the road. So something I did not do in this koi fish, I am gonna do real quick, and it's the fins. I did not finish the fins. The fins need the white, and then the creamish, realistic look. Two drips should be enough. What I'm gonna do first, I'm just gonna heat that spot up, and what I'm doing now is just finishing the fins. If you're new, appreciate you. If you're not new, I appreciate you as well. I am done with the appointment that I needed to do. Get that out of the way. So what we're doing, or where we left off at, which I didn't realize because I was getting ready to jump on the next one, is the fins. I need to do the fins on this one real quick. And then this one here, we'll start working on. As you can see, the pink finally died down, and I have more of a reflective look. All right, so we're gonna slap the white on that fin because the fins aren't too transparent. One second, I see the comments coming up. All right. Hello, just a random. Hello to everyone else that jumped in. Let me get this out of the way. That reflectiveness looks great on that lure too. How are you guys all number one? How did that manage to happen? where it made all of you number one. It's usually 1, 2, and 3. Or something, I don't know. I need to look up how this live thing works completely, from the diamonds and all of those other little things as well. Okay, so there's number 3. And number 2, this is a koi fish, a pattern that is rarely seen on lures. This thing is just predetermined to fall over. All right. All right, I'm gonna heat set this because getting a little bit agitated there. Realistically, not huge. I don't know exact size, but I have a Badger one, which is actually pretty big. Just looking at it, I would say it looks like a dual tank. So this one is pretty big. You could actually just get one of those small silver cans. You would want something that can at least push, for me, this one says 57. I run between 15 to 60. It does say 100 on here, like the max it can push out, but the can itself auto stops at 60. But I run between 15 to about 50-ish, 60-ish. Right now I'm at about 25 is what I'm pushing right now. All right. So next step. Nah, you didn't hear it just now? It's not really ultra quiet. I heard there is some really quiet ones, and the one that I've seen, which now that I've been posting these airbrush videos, I've been getting a lot of airbrush related stuff, and this like ultra quiet one's like $600, and I'm like, I don't need that. I would like to hear it though, so when it pops up again, I'm gonna look it up on YouTube and see how it actually sounds. It's this one here. It's a little loud. I can't talk over it, and you guys hear me properly. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do, the final step, is the fleshy pink. And to the people that's been around, the flesh pink, of course, I need to heat set the fin itself just to man, this lure is heavy as I don't know what. Just so that flesh pink doesn't run. Yeah, that was it. Appreciate the like. All right, there we go. Just want this pink to taking too long to pick that up. It's probably gonna run. It's not gonna blend how I want it to. No, it did. It's still a little watery though, I can tell. If anything, that's loud. It's just that one this hair dryer. All right, I'm gonna heat set this side as well. Just get the area hot so that it doesn't run. Appreciate the gift. I don't know how those things work. I just know I accumulate them and I pass them out. It gives you like this kind of like indication saying, hey, you have enough to send a person a gift. I don't know exactly what it does. So don't get me the line. Alrighty. Gonna heat set this. So how do you accumulate them? Do you know? All right, so there it is. We got the soft, fleshy look on both sides. That sun is blazing through that window. I'm gonna fix that before we start the next one. Let me see if I can close this down. All right, I think that's better. Yeah, fan's going now, so the ventilation's going through behind me, and it is getting a little cold in here pretty quickly. Alrighty, so if you were here earlier, we started this one. This is the 5th one and final one before I move on to the next set of baits. That reflectiveness, the pink is not nearly as strong anymore. It's more of the Mega Bass French Pearl jerkbait look. Because I'm kind of like showing people at the same time, like explaining, It's a little bit of a longer process versus me just in here, no camera, just doing it. I would say the four took about an hour each, maybe. And I'm also like freestyling. So here's the picture that I was going off of and just kind of making them up. But we got four done. So this is number five. And I was kind of going to blitz through it, but um, new people are coming in. So can't blitz through it like I would if no one was watching or if I wasn't live. So what I am gonna get ready to do now. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me pretty well? Yeah, usually it would take me like 20 minutes, especially on something. These are simple. Um, for me, the thing that takes the longest is bluegill and a juvenile rainbow trout because of so much or how many different layers it has to to create a good looking bluegill or a good looking juvenile trout. And then the way I like the lures to look is closer to like a taxidermy style versus just a slap on pattern. So here's a juvenile rainbow trout. If you can see, that up close. There we go. It has a lot of different blends to make it work out. And then here's a simple bluegill. I know you didn't ask for it, but shell cracker, red hair, whatever you want to call it. That one didn't take too long. It's those bigger bluegill that take forever. Favorite football player you think is the best football, like right now, or just in total, like all years? I have three that I like, and it's Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, Barry Sanders. That is it. I don't even watch football like that anymore. Um, and if I'm rooting for any team, it's any team that doesn't have a ring. So the Vikings, the Bills, um, used to be the Eagles. They all, I think it's like four or five teams left. You're back. And I gotta find Daniel. I'm glad you said something. I'm hoping Daniel gets in here so he can moderate because you are absolutely right. It is Wacky Wednesday. People are trolling live to live, and I haven't caught any yet. I did catch a few last night, but today it hasn't been too bad. And I personally don't get offended. I find it funny. I just don't want the people watching to get offended. Appreciate it, sir. That's the goal, is to try to get it as close to realistic as possible. Oh shoot, you mentioned, okay, you meant that type of football. European. I don't know, bro. I don't have favorite player, favorite team, Manchester. I don't know if they're a good team or not anymore, but back with the other team or names that I named off during that era, that's who I would play with when I played FIFA and stuff like that. I'm gonna let it slide one more time, and then I'm gonna give you a 30-minute. You're gonna get a 30-minute just for the heck of it. I feel like being a troll myself, so you might get a 30-minute. All right. So the next step is I'm gonna put gold down in some spots, and what the gold does is it creates a reverse light scale look. If you could see it, so it's just not a bland orange. I'm gonna put the gold down first, but I also need to heat up the actual lure itself. And that's because this is really like watered down, and I want it to dry as soon as it hits. And this gold is a bit of a process, so it's going to take a couple of layers of heat setting and spraying on. So if I show you, it's not dry yet. If you look closely, the diamonds have like a bit of a bevel look in it in the middle. That means that if I touch that paint, it will rub right off. I wouldn't necessarily say color theory. I kind of just break it down and go from there. But to give you an idea, I'm kind of am looking at a picture and just working from that to get the koi fish. But I'm not copying. I'm just looking at some of the details that I feel like needs to be put down, but creating my own look per se. All right, so that's the spots where the orange is actually going to go over top of the gold, but on a scale pattern to give it a look that it looks like an actual scale pattern, except for the face. The face has gold in it just to create that reflective goldfish look. Um, that's kind of what I did with the first one, was just figuring out how the gold would work just based off of the goldfish that I have on the wall. And in fact, I'll show you guys the wall real quick. So that's the wall, and then of course all the other nonsense. But I look at all of those different lures or different Google images, and some of them are actual images from other friends of mine that have caught the fish, and I base it off of that. Alright, so I'm going to put some gold on the opposite side just randomly. I think what I'm going to do is come over the top of the back and then down onto the side, and then probably a spot on the front. I would say assembly line the way I'm doing it. No, I won't say assembly line, because when I do the assembly line, it's each lure I'm doing them and they all look the same. So in this case, I'm kind of I am scared to open this message that's being held for review. Let's see. It is Wednesday. I'm gonna show. It's not bad. Show, show. Okay. Oh, somebody else is holding your messages. I guess the word. If they blocked it, I'm not gonna say it. Moby. No, bigger fish do tend to eat these type of baits. Muskie, pike, larger bass, stripers. Those kind of fish. I don't even throw anything this big. Not me. Other people do. Uh, Me myself, I throw stuff like this. In comparison to that, I prefer this little guy, and I can catch almost everything that everybody is throwing these bigger lures with, except for the muskie. They come every 1,000 casts. It's kind of harder to get them to bite smaller lures, and when they do, they usually take it. Yeah, it's Wednesday, man. I've gotten some crazy ones in here. All right, I'm gonna hit it one more time with the gold to close up those spots. Just make sure that it's really bold. All right, I have emptied out that gold, so we are technically done with gold now. Just gonna heat set it one more time. A small little red eye, like a bluegill, or what do you call it? Like a wart mouth, a worm mouth, whatever you call it. All right, gold, both sides. Next step is orange. I'm kind of worried because I left the paint in the brush for about 30 minutes, a little bit longer, and I'm hoping it did not dry on the end or on the inside. Then I have to clean the brush completely, and we'll be done for today. If that is the case. I don't know if you're trying to set me up, trying to screen snipe me with that one. All right, we just want to make sure all right, this brush is spraying sideways for me leaving the paint in there too long. So this one is out of commission. Alright, I'm going to put this brush off to the side. Let's see if it will at least spray out this water. If not, alright, not completely clean, but put this in it. Alright, I'm going to put this brush to the side, and I'm going to use a heavy brush, which I don't want to use, mainly because it sprays out really bold, and then my fine brush is technically too fine to spray this orange how I want, but I'll give it a shot. All right. It is, especially when the fish accepts them and you're actually getting bites with stuff that you made, or for me, looking for my scale pattern. I don't know if I dropped it on the floor or it's under something. It's probably under something. Oh no, there it goes. Alright. So what I'm going to do here now is the gold spots. I'm going to take this and create scale patterns right over the gold. I feel like that might be spraying too heavy. Okay. All right. I'm going to heat set that spot real quick just because I don't want it to rub off with me hitting the other spot. I don't need a mask. You hear that noise? I have a dual ventilation system running. So from this side, and the reason why I have one long sleeves as well, because it's kind of cold in here, I have a window open that's sucking fresh air in, and then the fan behind me is pulling the air out. So it's going right out by me. Now, if I'm spraying that clear coat stuff, I will wear a mask. And I also wouldn't go live doing that because it just fumes up the room. But yes, a mask is definitely a good idea. And then if I had on a mask, you wouldn't be able to hear me. All right, I'm gonna heat set these spots. Oh man. All right, so what I noticed after the fourth lure and the diamond shapes at the top is if you go the opposite direction. Okay, so on the lure, the diamond shapes are going back and forth this way. I went that way so that they're more visible and stand out. You can see the pattern a lot better now, the actual scale patterns themselves, versus me going up and down. Say like for this one, takes you a little bit longer to see them stand out right away, just because they are up and down as well. Koi fish, and I do appreciate you subscribing and the people who are liking and leaving the diamonds, and even the trolls that are interacting as well. They bring other people to look just off of them commenting. So no hard feelings against the trolls. Just don't get too out of control. All right, so the next step, which is very important for these patterns, is I noticed on the actual koi fish themselves, which I've said like in every video, they come to a hard stop. Every area comes to like a hard stop versus how I have it here with soft. Koi fish come to a hard stop. So what I'm going to do is use my crappie layout and go right around the edges of what I've just sprayed to create the hard stop. Just to give you an idea. Hard stops like that, that is going to knock the paint off. It keeps falling like that. Okay, what the heck? Let me get this thing back on the grid so it stopped moving. Jeez. Doesn't help that this lure is almost 2 ounces. I'm looking for another set of helping hands fix that one. Oh gosh. Yep. Stealing your information as you speak, man. That's all I'm doing. Faking like I'm airbrushing, and as you comment and get your IP address and your address and all that sweet stuff, that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm gonna heat set this one spot and show you guys real quick. Alrighty, so that is a spot. Now what I'm going to do is this second spot, but it does carry over some, so I'm going to start on the top of the back. Alrighty, I'll show you real quick. So we're going over the top and working our way to the side. And there we have the two big splotches for this koi fish. Actually, I need to do one thing here at the bottom. Because they come to hard stops, they don't fade out. There's a fade out spot that I don't like. That looks 1,000 times better. I have a really nice ventilation system. You can't hear that? That's the reason why the content says loud. And the reason why I have on long sleeves, it's kind of cold in here. I'm going to explain it again. There's a window over here that's letting in the cold air, and as it's coming around, there's two fans going behind me that's catching all of that. Usually I would wear a mask and turn off those fans and go to work and not be live, but since I'm explaining, that is why. And you can hear the cars and stuff passing by. Usually you hear people out there cursing and stuff and arguing about going to work, but it's under 30, so you won't hear that. Not right now, probably tomorrow. We will be hitting the 50s. It's going to be a nice day. In the neighborhood that I am in, there is guaranteed to be a fight. Alrighty. Doing the other side real quick. I see the comments coming across the screen. I'll read them in a split second. I just want this to be right. I'm actually going to heat set that before I do that last little spot because I can see it trying to rub. Yeah, pike, musky, uh, bigger bass, stripers. Yeah, this is the fifth one of me messing around with a koi fish pattern. Um, and they're coming out pretty good. All right. I need to do a pattern on the face. Woo. All right. Um, yes and no. Um, swim baits tend to get really expensive pretty quickly, especially if you are making them from scratch. I don't know why I sit that over there because I'm going to use that. All right, I'm going to heat set this real quick. Yeah, I haven't seen too many koi fish around, like lure wise, except for the one the guy sent me from Japan. And after I lost, I'm like, okay, I'm adding it to my arsenal. But to make sure that I get a good understanding, I did it on a bigger bait before I do it on my smaller lures. All right, the next step is the black. And with this brush, this is what I like about this brush. This brush has been sitting for over an hour with the black in it. It did not dry up. It is still ready to spray. This is the Sotar 2020 medium model. Probably my favorite brush because it doesn't act up as much as the others. For me, I used to have a harder time catching my limit on trout than I would on a bass. Trout seemed to be like the hardest thing to catch, but I finally started figuring them out. But those things, man, are smart. Now, those are the fish that require patience. I remember my first time ever trout fishing. I went out there with bass lures, and the trout were literally jumping over my line and going under it, just doing limbo and just like having fun. Basically saying that I didn't know what I was doing. I could catch a bass in a heartbeat. Trout, man. Sorry if I'm missing the comment. I am trying to get this right. All right, I think that is it for the black that I want to add. I had a lake like that here, and they decided to knock it down, let all the water out, and sucks. They said it won't be back up and ready for another 5 years. All right, so here we have this version of the koi that's almost done. Let me double check my time, see if I'm good to go on that. Okay, I got a little bit of time. The black dots that I added in the fins on this one won't be solid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white and go over top of it, and then the pinkish flesh pattern or ink to give it that koi fish fin look. Koi fish's fins are oddly pinkish white and not really transparent like a bluegill or a bass or a crappie. They are more opaque. So that is what I am going to do there. Nah, I'm not going to use this brush, this thing here. Alright, I'm going to try my fine brush. Hopefully it sprays correctly. This will be the final steps to the koi fish, and then we will move on to painting a largemouth bass the way I would do it. Everyone uses the green golds and all that sweet stuff. I'm going to do a little bit more enhancements. See if I can make it look like it was done by taxidermists. I knew this brush was going to do that. Alright, so I'm going to go over this fin with white, not super heavy, just enough so that it doesn't look transparent. So there it is with the white over it. I'm going to do that to the other side. Alrighty, I'm gonna heat set that real fast, and also I'm gonna actually just clean this out of here real quick. Brushes are out of commission, man. I've been using them too much. I need to take them home and clean them. Alright, I'm not going to worry about cleaning this just yet, because I kind of want to get this over with. It is the last one. Alright, so the last and final color. is this fleshy pink look. It goes over the white at a fade, and because it's really watered down, I have to heat the lure up so that it does not run. That is a trick that I kind of taught myself. Y'all don't even want to know what just happened. Oh my goodness. To my surprise, that joint did not bend. I just knew that that needle tip bent from falling out of there. All right, let me reheat set this. I know I'm really done with this lure now. Trying to be fast. Not completely dry yet, but there is the pink fade. I think what I'm going to actually do is drag a little bit of black over the top and the bottom just to give it more of a realistic look as well. Taking too long to pick that up. The thing cools off pretty quickly. Alright, the last and final step is I'm going to just run a little black above and below, which I didn't think about until it was done. give it that effect, so it looks like the fin is over top. And then I'm also going to do it on the other side, but in a different look so that it's not symmetrical. So that way it looks like the fins are over the actual black spot on the body. I'm going to say I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'm going to touch up a few of these lures and get ready to log out and go do some other stuff that needs to be done. What I mean by touch up, just hitting any spots that look like it would fade versus it stopping. So like there, it looked like it was fading out. I hit it to make it come to a hard stop. Give it a nice good look. Alright, we have ourselves 5 koi fish that I can't put all on the screen at the same time. Number 1, that was the first one. This was number, I don't know, lost count on which one was which, but I know that's the first one just because of how it looked. Actually, I do know now. This is number 2 because it has a lot of gold in it. Number 2. Number 3. I'm lying. This is the last one. This is number 3. Number 4. And number 5. And each time I painted koi fish, I came up with something different that I learned moving forward, so that when I finally do the small versions that I will keep for myself, I know exactly what I want. I will probably make a few to sell. The site is itmustbethebait.com. There's some bluegill, some trout, there's a couple of reels on there. There will eventually be some custom made rods, not for swim baits. I am making rods that can use a bait caster to throw fly lures. That is the end goal with the rods. I have been working on that for the past 2 years. Everything is coming out smooth how I want it. But I will say I do appreciate y'all. The comments, the interactions, of course the shares, because it shows that people shared the video after the fact. The likes, the diamonds, the flowers, all that sweet stuff. Until next time, peace out.